and welcome to another edition of Two for Tuesday Grief and Motivation Talk with me, Kenisha Nichelle. I am so glad that you are joining me yet again for another conversation. I am here in Miami, but it is 50 something degrees today. So that's why I'm all bundled up, because I typically do this from my balcony because it's peaceful and I love doing it out here. But you didn't hear about that. Sorry. That was loud. You guys did not come here to hear about that. You came here to get some inspiration. And so for today, we are going to be talking about you need a grief G.P.S. and don't be afraid to ask for what you need. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. Let me cover a couple of announcements first. So I have decided to go ahead and release my Holiday Blues Pocket Guide as a free resource for you. So if you are going through this season of navigating grief and the holidays, it can be tough. You know, I can remember my first Christmas without both of my parents, and it was bad. It was tough. There is no lie there. I would never try to sugarcoat what it was, because it was definitely tough. I had decided that I just did not want to participate in the Christmas season whatsoever. And so on Christmas Eve, I chose to go get a hotel room, and I stayed by myself. I cut my phone off. The only person who knew that I was escaping was my cousin, and so she came over and she joined me in the hotel, and I ordered a pizza for Christmas, and that was it. That was my Christmas day. Although I did end up having a feeling that I wanted to give back. I said that, God had brought me through so much in this year that I wanted to show my gratitude by helping somebody else. So I did decide to get up and go and volunteer at a homeless shelter and serve a meal for Christmas Day. But I decided not to participate with my family. I didn't buy gifts. I didn't have a tree, or I didn't do any of those things. And so I share that with you because I want you to know that going through the holiday season and grieving at the same time is not easy. There are hard decisions that you have to make as to whether or not you want to participate, because the holiday season is a grief trigger, right? The holidays represent family time and connecting. And so to know that you're not going to have your loved one around the Christmas tree or be able to buy a present for them is tough. And so if you want some resources and some information on how to process your emotions and how to handle it, I have that free downloadable guide, which is the Holiday Blues Pocket Guide for you. This is a way for you to just quickly reference, when those emotions come, how to handle it. It does include grief scriptures. It includes holiday grief affirmations. So these are specific to the holiday season that you can begin to declare over yourself. And then I give a list of 31 tips to help you get through the rest of December, because there is 31 days. So I wanted to give you 31 things to think about as you're going through the holiday season. So if that's something that's of interest to you, please click the link in my bio to download that free resource. If you are watching this on Instagram or on YouTube, you can click the link below and go to KenishaNichelle.com to download that resource, all right? Also, number 2, as always, I am not here by myself. I am being welcomed by my family, as I affectionately call them, my family in the Grieving Christians Facebook group. And so if you would like to connect with others who are believers, who love God, but know that you're struggling in your faith during this season, then I would encourage you to click the link in my bio and to join us in the Grieving Christians Facebook group. As a matter of fact, tonight we are having a pop-up workshop. I believe that in this season we have to have prayer and practical resources. So tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're doing a pop-up workshop on sharing your grief. A lot of the members in there wanted to know, how can I share with people who are around me, my friends, my family, my coworkers? How do I let them know what I'm going through without feeling like a burden to them, but also not making them, have to guess how I'm doing and how I'm feeling. So if you are not a member of the Griffin Christians Facebook group, join now so that way you can participate in this free workshop tonight in the group, which is sharing your grief, how to share with others about your loss and what you're going through. Okay, so let's go ahead and shift into our inspirational moment. As always, it comes from my Prayers from Strength and Healing book. And so today, December the 8th, this topic is awesome on par because it's going to be talking about exactly what our 2 points for today are, which the first is having a G.P.S for grief. So our inspirational moment says, the first step towards accomplishing any goal is to make a plan. Ask God to help you lay the blueprint for your dream, for He knows best the right tools to use and the strongest materials to build with. And so we're going to be talking about making a plan, not to give too much away, but this is important because I think we all have goals and dreams and aspirations, and even aside from our grief journey, we still had these things before we lost our loved one. And so in order to accomplish any goal or any dream, there has to be a plan. We can't simply wake up and say, you know what, I want to buy a house, and then we just go out and we buy the house. No, we have to have a plan in place for that to come to pass. If you want to buy a new car, same thing. We typically don't just wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to go buy me a car today. No, we have a plan for that. If we want to take an extensive vacation overseas, right? I want to go to Europe. We don't just wake up and say, I'm going to buy a ticket and I'm going to go to Europe. No, we make a plan. And so for our goals and our dreams, the things that we want to accomplish for our life, it has to be the same way. We have to have a plan in place in order to see that dream to come to pass. And so what this word is saying is that the first steps towards accomplishing any goal is to make a plan. And how do you go about making that plan? Well, you ask God to help you lay the blueprint for your dream. I don't think we should do anything without consulting God first, because God already has a plan for our lives. He already knows what we're supposed to accomplish, what our purpose is supposed to be. And so in order to make sure that that gets done, we want to make sure that we consult Him and make sure that we are aligned with what He has for our lives. We don't want to go out here and start planning things and doing things without consulting Him first, because then that sends us down the road of things not going well, frustration, hitting so many different roadblocks across the way. Not to say that anything doesn't happen, but when we're aligned with God, the path is just a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, just a little bit, because we know that we're following Him and we're aligned with what He has for us to do. And so the first thing you want to do is to ask God for help to lay that blueprint, for He knows best the right tools to use and the strongest materials to build with. And so I wholeheartedly believe that when we submit our plans to God and we tell Him, this is what I want to do, this is what's on my heart, is this your will, then He's going to allow the right people to come into your pathway to make this thing easier. I believe that He is going to see that, okay, you know what, my child has faith in me. She's believing that I can do this thing. Let me let this email go to the right person so that she gets a call back. Let me allow this contract that she's developing to actually be something that's going to be of resource for her. I just really wholeheartedly believe that that's the way that God operates in this season. When we submit our plans to Him and we trust and believe that what He has for us is the ultimate goal, then He is going to see to it that our plans do come to fruition. I believe that that's how I reached this place in my own purpose and in my own journey. That, even though I lost my job in May, but I was noticing that, of course, we're losing all of these people to the coronavirus, that it was almost my duty to step into this space to be able to help others who are grieving the loss of a loved one. Of course, all deaths have not occurred because of COVID-19. There's other natural causes and other things. But all in all, I just noticed that there were so many people that we were losing that I thought it was so important for me to use my voice and to say that God was allowing me to get through my journey, that I want to be here to help you too. And so because I submitted those plans, I knew that God laid it on my heart. Now we've just been flowing, and I've been doing this, since June, and things have been going really, really well. Not that everything is perfect, and not that, I've accomplished every goal on this path, but I feel comfortable and I know that I'm being led by Christ. And so I would encourage you to do the exact same thing, especially if you are have goals and dreams and things that you want to accomplish. Make sure that you're consulting God first, because you want to make sure that they're in alignment with Him. Okay, so that was today's inspirational moment for 2 for Tuesday. Let's go ahead and transition into our 2 topics for today. So we're going to talk about you need a grief GPS, and don't worry, but ask for the things that you need. Okay, so for the first one, you need a grief GPS. So of course, we all know what a GPS system is. It's the global positioning system. Before we had them on our phones, they were, little icons that are little portable, medallions. I can't think of what to call it, but it was that little portable box that you had in your car, where you would plug in the address and it would tell you where to go, right? And then it was upgraded. So a lot of the new cars, within the last couple of years or so, now have that navigation system in your cars where you can punch in the address. And then of course, we have those devices on our phone. We have Waze, we have Google Maps, to be able to navigate where we're going, right? Well, I believe that we need this same GPS system when we're navigating the waters of grief. And my GPS system is an acronym. So we need God, plan, and support. I believe that when we're going through this grieving season, that we should not be going through this by ourselves. If you attempt to try to go through this grief season by yourself in your own mind, you're left with your own thoughts, right? You're left with everything that you're thinking, and you're not consulting anybody to help you get through the process. You wake up day in and day out, you're thinking about the loss of your loved one. You're thinking about missing them, all the different things that you're not going to be able to do. You're thinking about, honestly speaking, the negative part of it. And so in order to get through that season, there's got to be 3 steps. There's got to be God in it. There has to be a plan, just what we just talked about. And you need support. You should not be going through this by yourself. And so I just wanted to impart that on you, because I do talk to a lot of people who, when I ask them, what are you doing to get through this season? Are you talking to a therapist? Are you talking with a coach? Who are you getting your sound advice from? And sorry guys for the sound that's behind me. I don't know if it's something coming down the street or something, but it's getting really loud. So forgive me for that. Let me put in my other earbud. Maybe that'll help. But I want you to know that when you're going through this, you need a grief GPS. You need God, you need support, and you need a plan. So God, of course, He's the source. We should not be making any moves without Him. And I know we've just talked about this, about needing Him in our plans, but we need Him in this season. We cannot go through this without Him. And I truly believe that God will not allow you to go through this without Him being with you. No, I truly believe that God is here. He is our support. We know that we can turn to Him in the Word. The Word even says that He will never leave us nor forsake us. And therefore, we can trust and believe that even though while it feels so painful right now, and it feels like we might not be able to make it through, we have somebody who is on our side, who is committed to helping us see us through. And so this is not the time when you waver in your faith. This is not, I'm so sorry guys, this is really, really loud. I hope that you can hear me over this. But this is not the time that we turn away from Him. This is not the time when we run from the Word, that we stop praying, that we stop listening to our gospel and Christian music, that we stop turning on church, or if you're going to church, this is not the time when we shut down and shut God out. This is the time when we have to tap into Him even more. We have to say things like, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but I trust you. That is a simple prayer. I've said this, over and over before, that we have to keep our prayers simple during the season. We don't have to do all the these and the thous. It can simply be, God, I trust you to bring me through this. God, I know that you're not going to leave me nor forsake me. And so I need you to help me to get through this. So remember, you need God in your grief journey. Number 2, you need a plan. So what is the plan? How are you able to get through this? Right now, and again, while we're in this holiday season, your plan could be downloading that holiday guide that I talked about, right? That's having information to be able to process and to manage your emotions during the season. It's not that we're going to get away from being sad. We're not going to be able to stop the tears from coming. That's not the plan. The plan is to have information and to be prepared for when it comes. So that is your plan. That's being prepared. That's going on Google and finding people who can help you. It's tapping into resources that I have for you, right? I have another free downloadable that will help you get through this grieving season. It is deciding to connect with a support group or to get a therapist or a coach, myself, right? And that's your plan. It's, knowing that you can't do this by myself. Even the word says that faith without works is dead. We cannot try to do this without putting in some type of work. I say this all the time, that we have to be an active participant in our healing. We cannot wake up and expect to be healed because that's what we want. We have to be actively engaging and participating in it. And so that is a part of your plan, knowing what resources you're going to reach out to be able to get through this. And then the S is support. So you need your family, you need your support system, your internal support system and external. I believe that there should be a balance between the two. We don't want to pour out everything onto our family, especially for those who have not worked this journey. Because they may begin to feel overwhelmed because they don't really know how to support you because they haven't been there. And so we may want to leave our family to support us with, doing the fun things or to help us have a sense of normalcy, right? And then we have our other support, which are support groups that you can be a part of, Grieving Christians, if you're not already. But we have that network to help us to be a part of as well, so that way we can show ourselves, be vulnerable, open our hearts to this group of people and get what we need through the grief journey for here. But then we have our family and friends on the other side to help us feel like ourselves at some point, right? And so that's the support aspect that you need. So while you're going through this grief season, you need three things. You need God, you need a plan, and you need support. And so I just wanted to share that with you because I know sometimes we just get so overwhelmed with all of this that it's difficult to figure out how to pull ourselves out of this space. And so I just want you to know that having those three is the foundation to getting through this grief season, all right? And then the second point for Two for Tuesday is don't be afraid to ask for what you need. I am guilty of this. I use this topic because I know that it's important, but I also know that it's a sensitive subject for myself because I personally, struggle with asking. Sometimes, we may feel in a space where I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to have people to hold things over me, but until we open our mouths and we say what we actually need, we're leaving people to assume that we have it all together. I know that I said this before, that you have to be vulnerable and you have to be honest and transparent and to share what you're going through. And this is not even just for grief season, this is for everyday life. You may be in this season right now where it's tough. Maybe you lost your job and things are financially tough. And you want to be able to get Christmas gifts for your children, but you don't know how to. Well, no one's able to help unless you speak up and ask. And so there is no shame in asking for help. There is no shame in saying that, I need somebody to help me do these things. Because if we're able to open ourselves up and to ask, I'm willing to bet that there's somebody on the other side who is willing to be there for you. So don't be afraid to ask for what you need in this season. And that's with grief, that's with everyday life. Whatever you may be going through, whatever you may be facing, I want you to be encouraged to know that if you can ask, then it shall be given. It even says that in the word, God says to ask and ye shall receive, right? Knock and the door will be open unto you. So if you are not able to ask a human person, ask God. Ask God and say, Lord, I need you to help me in this area. My finances are struggling right now. I need peace in my heart. I need sanity for my mind. Lord, help me control my emotions. I need you. And I wholeheartedly believe that God will step in and he will be able to make ways when you may not have thought that there was a way to be made. I believe that if we're able to at least ask him, then that will, open the door for a miracle. That may open the door for somebody to randomly cash app you and send you some money that you didn't even expect, right? That may open the door for you to check the mailbox and there is a rebate check or a refund check because you overpaid on a bill, right? I believe that if we're able to open our mouths and to ask, that God will make a way when there seems like there is no way. And so you can start with asking him and allow him to open the doors for you. Or if you are in a space and there are people who are around you that you can ask, that people who love you, who will never hold it against you, who want to be there to support you because of what you're going through right now, ask them and they will be able to support you while you go through this, okay? And you're not going to be in this season forever. Trouble does not last always. Glory to God for that, right? This too shall pass. Hallelujah. I thank God that, everything that we go through is only but for a season. Everything there is a season. This is not going to last forever. This is not going to be how it always is. I want you to hear me when I tell you that. Take it from me. I have been where you are, and trouble does not last forever. In this season of where we are right now, this coronavirus, this pandemic, this layoffs, the heartache, the pain, the struggle, all of it, it is not going to last forever. We serve a God who says that this too shall pass, that trouble does not last always, that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I want you to hear me when I say that. Because it's really easy to get into a space where we think that this is all that it's going to be. That when we look with our natural eyes, that this is all that I see. And I hear God saying right now to open your eyes, to look to the hills for which cometh your help. Know that your help comes from the Lord. And I want you to know that this is not going to be forever. Whatever you may be facing, if it's grief, if it's regular life, if it's financial, if it's peace in your heart and in your mind, whatever it is, it's not going to last forever. Weeping may endure for a night. It could be one night. It could be 3 nights. It could be 12 nights. It could be a year worth of nights. I don't know how long the season will last, but God promises that he's going to bring us through. And so I just want you to be encouraged right now to know that this is not going to last forever. Whatever you may be facing, whatever you may be going through, trust me and when I tell you that it is going to pass. And you're going to look up one day and it's going to be like, wow, I'm actually doing okay. I'm doing better than I thought I was. It's not a date. I cannot tell you that in 1 year you're going to be through this. That I would be a liar if I tried to do that. But I can tell you from my heart that truly one day you will look up and you'll say, you know what, I'm doing okay. It's not that I don't miss them. It's not that things aren't difficult, but I have a different perspective now. My mindset is in a different place where I'm choosing to believe that better days are ahead. That I will repeat affirmations like, I know I can make it. I am strong. I am courageous. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. When we say things like that and we declare out of our mouths the things that we know to be true, that's when the thing starts to change in our life. And so God just laid that on my heart at this moment, and I just wanted to share that with you because I feel that there are people who are going through this right now and thinking that this is all that it's going to be. But trust me when I tell you that this will not last forever, okay? Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. And then going back to our first point, that you need a G.P.S. when you're going through grief. You need God, you need a plan, and you need support. You cannot do this by yourself. Hear me when I tell you, you cannot do this by yourself. We've got to allow God to be the guide and to be our source in everything. You need a plan. Faith without works is dead. We cannot try to do this without putting in active effort. I truly believe that healing requires participation. You have to be involved in this. So it's reaching out, it's getting those resources, it's downloading those things, those free things that are offered to you. It's joining a support group, it's finding a coach or a therapist. You have to be actively involved. That's a part of your plan to get through this grief season. And then you need support. Not only do you need support of family, but you need support of a community. You want to balance this thing out. You want to have your family and friends as a soundboard to try to have some normalcy, to try to do things that will lift your spirits, but you also want to have a safe space and a support where you can be vulnerable, you can open up your heart, and you can share those things that are concerning you, okay? So that wraps up today 2 for Tuesday's Grief and Motivation Talk. This was a good one today. If you missed it, I would encourage you to go back and watch the replay. Our 2 for Tuesdays was talking about you need a grief G.P.S. and don't be afraid to ask for help. As a reminder for those free resources, if you are having a tough time during this holiday season, I have the Holidays Blues download, which is a free pocket guide where you can just get some real quick information on how to navigate this season. It includes grief scriptures, holiday grief affirmations, and then 31 tips to help you get through the month of December, because I know it's tough. That balance between trying to get into the holiday spirit but missing your loved ones, it's real. It's very real. And so I'm not here to tell you that you won't have tears, that there won't be moments of sadness, but I do believe that you have to be prepared to handle it. And that's what this guide is all about, is to help you be prepared. Okay? So that's all that I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me for another 2 for Tuesday. God willing, we will be right back here next week. And I wish you a blessed week. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.